It's a very beautiful day, and I am reluctant to do schoolwork, but I will, because I have to. Uh, Today it's on Second Treatise of Government by John Locke. This is not my first Locke video, this is my second Locke video. And core idea number one, which I discussed this with Dr. Benson, so I'll be using some of her language, but I put a fair amount of thought into it myself. And that is that property is valuable because people are valuable. Property is valuable because people are valuable. And I'm right outside hard entrance, so it might be a little bit noisy. Sorry about that. Locke talks about property, and you put labor into something, it becomes your property. And then money is just kind of this distinct or derived from that, and it has no value in itself, only insofar as we put labor into things doesn't they become valuable and become property. And that this is worth protecting, and that's what government's all about, and yada yada, and it goes on for quite a while. And his whole system of government is really centered around property and the value of property. Yes. But so you ask, why is property valuable? You can say it preserves people. We need food. We need food that is ours. And so you could take that route. But also, even property that's not related to self-preservation, like luxury items, are still valuable. Money is valuable when acquired via labor, but not when it's not. That's interesting. That's why people that inherit it do not value money so much, because they have not put labor into it, perhaps, although it's still valuable because someone put labor into it. Nevertheless, I want to say that. So yeah, because even luxurious property is valuable, it comes from the labor that I put into something. Makes it valuable simply because I am a valuable thing, and the time that I put into something is worth stuff. It's worth protecting, even if it doesn't have a use. It could be just pure sentimental value. This thing that I make. I think that is a commendable view of property. I don't think property is just things we acquire by force. I think Locke has a better view of property than Hobbes does. Yeah. And that men have respect for property normally. And that even though we're fallen, I don't think people just steal all the time. This gets back to whether Hobbes thinks all men are wicked, or if just some men are wicked, and that's enough for all men to be considered wicked, blah blah blah, like in my previous video. Yes, but nevertheless, there's a kind of weight and respect that property has that goes beyond just pure self-preservation, which I think is really interesting, and why for Locke, government is about protection of life and property, not just of life. And in Hobbes, the king just can't take your life, but in Locke, the king can't take even 1 penny from you without your consent. So yeah. Second core idea is, it seems like in Locke, criminals, that is, those who reject, those who enter into a state of war, I think they give up their humanity. Because he says, like, if someone tries to steal from me, I can kill him on the spot. I can kill him. I feel like that is pretty extreme, you know, like, it's not just saying, like, I could restrain him. and wait for authorities, I could kill him, because he has ceased to function. He has ceased to respect humanity. He has ceased to function like a human. He's become a beast with no respect for property. He's not valuable. He is a blemish on his society. He is not acting according to natural law or God's law. I wonder if that's really true, though. Because it seems like we could be too severe. Like, if there's a guy, like, every time someone threatens him, he just kills people. We'd say, oh, you ought not to have done that. Even if we don't bring the law against him, it seems like it would be better if you had just restrained him and given him over to the law or the police. So that's kind of confusing for me. I'm not sure if I'm down with Locke's full view of how to treat criminals. But this tiedness to humanity and abiding according to the law is very interesting, and I think it kind of goes back to property is valuable because people are valuable, and the self-centeredness of Locke's epistemology and the epistemology of his age, making everything focused on the self, and like, I'm valuable, therefore my property is valuable. I act according to the law, therefore those who do not act according to the law must die. Then, like, what about from the criminal's point of view? And that kind of gets confusing. I don't like self-centered things. Yeah. And then synthesis. I was touching on this a little bit a moment ago. Between Locke and old Locke, the essay concerning human understanding is that Locke grounds himself in practicality. He observes the world. He says, hey, look, you think that absolute power purifies the blood? You're wrong. Look at history. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's the way that the world has shown itself to function. And so from that, I draw the principle power corrupts, and that this needs to be something that's guarded against in some shape or form. And so, yeah, he looks at the world, he draws all these principles, and then he begins constructing his theories. He does not begin with these laws or begin with theories and then try to impose it onto people. He doesn't, in a sense, he doesn't try to force people into his framework. He tries to force his framework onto people, because people are the real things, people are the valuable things. What is it that people need? How is it that people need it? They should do this. It's not like this is the just society, and if you could just get into it, you would be a just society. You see people as they are, and you say, what do just people look like? That's the kind of government we need. We need a government of just people. And what does that look like? Okay, now we have this government, now we can try to start making people act according to it. You get your definition of justice from people, I suppose. What people need. And they need justice, they need provision, they need protection from all those that are outside of the government. And yes, so this is my second time reading Locke, and I enjoy him. Long sentences. I'm really looking forward to comparing him to the Constitution.